I grew up in Florida, and from a very young age, I really loved to make things. Arts and crafts time in school was always my favorite time, even better than recess. I also really loved to read, and I fell in love with a certain series of books. These books, Harry Potter. I grew up alongside Harry, and he taught me a lot. Admittedly, I still read the books to this day, and there's one particular kid lesson that still sticks with me. And that's that even if magic isn't real, you make your own magic by being brave and never giving up. So, when I was 12, I made the brave choice to pack up my books and go to boarding school in Massachusetts. In my 6 years of boarding school, I made some pretty amazing friends, got into a little bit of mischief, and more than anything, I fell in love with the theater. I'd always been a really creative person, but performing was a new kind of creativity for me. I learned that theater was about bringing a story to life on the stage and making the audience feel something, and that, to me, was magic, and I loved it. I knew that the stage was where I belonged, so when it came time for college, I auditioned for 8 conservatories, and I ended up choosing CCPA at Roosevelt University here in Chicago. However, during my 4 years in college, I learned that loving theater did not exactly mean loving the theater business. So I graduated last year with a BFA in musical theater, very disheartened with no idea what I was going to do with my life. So I turned to my family for advice, and my brother, he told me to meet one of his friends who was doing UI UX design, and he thought I'd be good at it. So when I met her, she mentioned the Starter League. And when I went to look up the Starter League, I found this new 9-month program, Starter School. And everything I read about Starter School reminded me of visiting my brother when he was working on a startup, and he's right there. I was visiting him when he was working on a startup, and I went and looked at his whiteboard, which is full of sketches, code snippets, and notes, and I thought, I have no idea what's going on, but this is really cool, because I knew about the problem he was trying to solve, and I knew how he was going about solving it, and I thought, how awesome would it be if I could learn how to do that? So he convinced my mom, and I applied to Starter School, and I got in. And I came to Starter School with almost no idea of what to expect, but what ended up happening is that I learned a ton. In the first 3 months alone, I think I learned more than 4 years of undergrad. And it was also kind of like I was at Starter School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and Jeff Cohen was like, Katie, you're a wizard, and he gave me a wand and taught me all these spells, but I didn't know how I was going to use those powers to make a difference. So that's where my project comes in, Castmate. In the first part of Starter School, my friend was busy starting his own theater company, and he was casting his first show. He did what a lot of directors do, which is post their audition on a popular Chicago listing site, and they list their email and say, hey actors, send me your headshots and resumes. So he got hundreds of emails with multiple attachments of actors' headshots and resumes with no easy way to go through them. And we both agreed that there had to be a better way to do this. And I knew of an existing solution, but no one I knew was using it, so I knew it couldn't be working for everyone and that I could make something better. So I created Castmate. Castmate makes it easier for theater companies to receive and sort through actor headshots and resumes. So when an actor signs up, what they see is this. That's me in another lifetime. So I want to make it really easy for them to add roles to their profile. So what you do is you click add a role, and then you're able to type your role, and if your role is already in our system, you can simply select it, and it already fills in the show for you. Same with the theater. All the main Chicago theaters are already in the database, so if you start typing the theater name, it'll automatically fill in the city of Chicago. And all you have to do is click add to resume, and it simply pops right down to your resume or your profile there, and it makes it super simple. So what the casting directors see is this. It's a listing of all the actors who have submitted for that show. So there are 2 ways to sort. They can filter by type and by role. So say they're casting the role of Henrik in The Little Night Music. They can click filter by type. It's a male role, so they click male. Say they're casting for an equity theater, so they click equity. And they search for the age group of a certain role, say 25 to 35 years, olives. It's a Caucasian role, so you click Caucasian. And they also need to play the cello on stage, so you search cello. And you click search, and the actors you're filtered down to are the ones that have those skills and fit those parameters. But say you just want someone who's already played the role of Henrik in A Little Night Music. You can also search by previous roles they've played. You type Henrik, Big Henrik and Little Night Music, and you click search, and you get the actors who have played that role before. I can check out Justin's profile, see what he's done in the past, see what his skills are, and I can add him to my call sheet or contact him directly. So that's how Castmate works. And I would say that my main struggle in starter school was getting over my fear of failure. I was entering a world to which I was completely new. I had only ever studied theater. And I had to accept the fact that I wasn't going to make something beautiful every single time, and that it would take a few iterations to get to what it is today. I would say the biggest lesson I learned in starter school was revealing my weaknesses and asking for help. I, like Harry, always wanted to do things on my own and not ask for help, but I learned the most when I revealed my weaknesses to my mentors, admitted that I was stumped, and just asked for advice. So now what? After starter school, I want to continue on my journey to become a designer who codes. I already have the coding part down. I'm well versed in Ruby on Rails, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I want to work with a company who challenges me as a designer while also pushing my coding to the next level. And thank you so much for coming, and I love my friends. I love you guys.